Imagine a place so small you could miss it on a map, yet if anything ever disrupted it, the price of fuel in your city could change almost overnight. No explosions, no warning, just a silent choke point that controls the flow of modern civilization. Hidden between Iran and Oman lies a stretch of water that most people never think about, but the entire world quietly depends on it every single day. This is the Strait of Hormuz. On the surface, it looks like just another narrow sea passage, calm, ordinary, almost forgettable. But beneath that calm surface is something far more powerful, a critical artery that keeps the global energy system alive. To understand its importance, you need to picture the scale. Every day, massive oil tankers pass through this channel carrying fuel that powers cities, industries, airplanes, and entire national economies. And here's the shocking part. This waterway is extremely tight. At its narrowest point, it's barely wide enough in maritime terms for heavy traffic flow, yet it handles a huge percentage of the world's oil movement. That means every sunrise, as ships slowly move through this corridor, they are carrying energy that directly fuels life thousands of miles away. Gas stations in the United States, factories in Europe, power grids in Asia, all quietly connected to this single passage of water. Look at the countries surrounding the Persian Gulf. Nations like Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, and the United Arab Emirates produce enormous amounts of oil, but production alone isn't enough. They need a reliable exit route to global markets, and for most of that supply, this narrow strait is the main gateway. Without it, the global energy system doesn't just slow down, it strains under pressure immediately. Ships would need longer, more expensive routes, supply chains would tighten, and energy distribution would become far more complicated almost instantly. But what makes this location so critical also makes it incredibly sensitive. Because of its geography, the strait sits in one of the most politically tense regions in the world. Any rise in regional tension, whether diplomatic, military, or strategic, can quickly turn this peaceful waterway into a global concern. Naval forces from different countries often operate in close proximity here. Surveillance is constant, patrols are routine, and every movement is watched carefully. Not because conflict is always happening, but because even the possibility of disruption is enough to demand attention. Even rumors of instability can cause global oil markets to react. Prices begin to shift. Traders become cautious. Governments monitor developments closely. Why? Because the world runs on expectations. And this strait sits at the center of those expectations. If shipping is delayed, if routes are threatened, or if insurance costs rise for tankers passing through, the impact spreads far beyond the Middle East. It reaches everyday consumers in fuel prices, transportation costs, and even the price of goods in stores. Now imagine a serious disruption, not just a delay, but a major blockage or sustained instability. The first reaction wouldn't be local. It would be global panic in financial markets. Oil prices would surge as supply fears increase. Countries dependent on imported fuel would feel immediate pressure. Airlines, shipping companies, and manufacturing industries would all face rising operational costs. And the effects wouldn't stop there, because when energy becomes expensive, everything connected to it becomes more expensive too. This is how a single narrow passage of water can ripple across the entire global economy. That's why this region is never truly quiet. Military presence increases during sensitive periods. International navies track commercial traffic. Satellite monitoring systems observe movement patterns across the strait. Commercial ships don't just pass through casually. Every journey is carefully planned, insured, and monitored. For the crews on board, it may look like a normal voyage, but strategically, it is one of the most closely watched shipping lanes on Earth. What makes this place truly fascinating is not just its geography, but what it represents. It is a meeting point of natural design and human dependence, a thin stretch of water that was never meant to carry global responsibility, yet now holds the weight of modern civilization's energy demand. And that's the paradox. The world has advanced technologically, economically, and industrially, but still relies heavily on a narrow route that cannot be easily replaced. This is why experts often describe it not just as a waterway, but as a strategic pressure point. Because if anything ever went seriously wrong here, the consequences would not stay contained. They would spread outward, affecting countries, economies, and daily life across continents. Not in theory, but in real, measurable impact. From a distance, it looks like just another line on the map, quiet, simple, almost invisible, but in reality, it is one of the most powerful choke points in the modern world. A place where geography, politics, and global energy all collide in a delicate balance. And as long as the world continues to depend on oil, this narrow stretch of water will remain one of the most important and most closely watched corridors on the planet.